Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We'll just wait for a few more people to join, maybe give it a minute or two, and we'll get started. Maybe while we're waiting, put in the chat, where you're from and what your biggest concern with employer is. All right, getting some good responses, and I think we'll go over all of these. So thanks, everyone, for joining us today. I'm Joseph Hammett, and I'm the head of sales at HR Cloud. And what we're going to do today is dive into a challenge that's not only widespread, but extremely costly. And it's really the employee turnover crisis. So for industries like restaurants, food and beverage, healthcare, retail, chains, and call centers, it's more than an HR problem. It's actually a business problem because those employees are ultimately the productivity of the organization. This session is called the High Turnover Survival Guide, Engagement Strategies that Actually Retain Employees. And we're here to talk about how to break the cycle of constant employee churn. So if 60% of your employees are leaving within a year, it's time to rethink your engagement strategies. So here's how we're going to spend the next few minutes together. We'll first begin by understanding the retention crisis and why traditional engagement methods are falling short. Then we'll dive into the key factors that make employees stay, and that is recognition, being informed about what's going on, and having a sense of belonging with the organization. I'll share practical examples from our application, Workmates, to show how these factors can be addressed effectively and efficiently. After that, we'll walk through a 30-day implementation plan with Workmates to get you started. And finally, we'll explore the ROI of these strategies, backed by our turnover reduction calculator that can be found on our website, so you can see the real financial impact. And then we'll end with a quick Q&A session. So let's start by talking about the retention crisis. Employee turnover is costly. We all can agree with that, both financially and operationally, and also emotionally. It disrupts productivity, hurts morale, and costs organizations significant amount in recruitment and training. Despite all the time and money spent on engagement strategies, turnover rates remain high, especially in industries like food and beverage, restaurants, healthcare, and retail. So why do these traditional methods fail? Well, they're often reactive instead of proactive. Managers struggle to keep employees engaged with the same outdated tools that fail to meet the expectations of today's workforce. And that's where we need to make a shift from traditional methods like emails to strategies that address the root cause of turnover. So what actually makes people stay? So the first is feeling recognized. Employees want to feel that their work matters. Simple recognition like shout outs or a kudos system can boost engagement and retention significantly. The second is staying informed. Communication is key. Employees need to feel in the loop, not just about work, but about company-wide news. But it has to be easy for them to stay informed in a way that fits their work environment. And third, belonging to something bigger. When employees feel a sense of belonging and a connection to their peers, both locally as well as globally, they're more likely to stay. Social connections, affinity groups, support groups, and a sense of community in the workplace can make all the difference. So now I'll show you how Workmates can address all these needs. So let's dive into the solution. Workmates is designed to help these problems at scale. With recognition, our kudos system within Workmates lets employees recognize each other in real time, fostering a culture of appreciation and allowing this to be something that's shared across the organization. Staying informed. Workmates offers announcements and real-time updates in a feed format, so employees never miss important news, regardless of their location. They get notifications, they get mentions, and none of these things fall through the cracks. And the last is belonging. So with customizable channels and groups for multiple purposes, whether it be business focused or whether it be more on a personal level, Workmates helps employees connect, share, and engage with their peers, no matter where they are. Now that you've seen the features, let's talk about how to implement this within your organization. So how do you implement something like Workmates, an employee-focused app, effectively? Well, it's really all about getting started the right way. And here's our simple 30-day plan. So in the first week or two, we start by introducing Workmates to a small group. This will be our test group or a small team. These are often people that are more gung-ho about getting this going and excited and going to be the promoters of this platform moving forward. And what we're going to do is focus on getting these employees and this team comfortable with the platform. And often this is by creating a recognition program and utilizing company announcements. In the next 2 weeks, so weeks 3 to 4, we expand usage across departments or bring this to new locations. That first team is the promoter. They're the ones selling this to the next manager group, the next department head, etc. So they're going to introduce team-specific channels and encourage employee engagement through discussion and feedback. By the end of that first month, the system is organically propagating itself. Your teams will be more connected, and you'll have a better sense of how the platform is actually being used in real time across your organization. So now let's look at the numbers. We all know that turnover is costly, but how much can your organization actually save by reducing it through a platform like Workmates? And this is where our ROI calculator comes into play, which can be found in our website under resources. Send me an email if you have any trouble finding it. By inputting your organization's specific data, like the number of employees, your average turnover rate, we can calculate the real savings for you using a platform like ours. The average turnover costs can actually range from anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000 per employee, depending on the role. With Workmates, we've seen companies reduce turnover by as much as 30%, and that leads to substantial savings. Using this tool, you'll see how reducing turnover and boosting engagement with Workmates can save you a significant amount of money, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 per year. Now I want to show you exactly how Workmates can make this a reality. In the live demo, you'll see how simple it is to implement the tools that drive retention, recognition, engagement, and real-time communication. So at this point, I like to pause and show you how this works in practice. In this short demo, I want you to pay attention to a few things. First, how easy it is for employees to access their feed. Next, how they interact with updates through comments, reactions, and sharing. And then I'm going to show how we can track engagement and visibility in real time from managers and supervisors. This isn't just about adding another tool. It's about replacing ineffective communication systems with something that employees actually use and creates real results. All right, so I'll hop into Workmates here. All right, so when they first come into Workmates, whether it be from their mobile device, from an iPad, from a computer, they're going to immediately see the most up-to-date information. They'll see company information that you want to share, company announcements, and recognition. And this is going to drive the user directly into the feed. Now, this is where the company is going to be posting important information for the entire organization. Things like congratulating somebody for a 10-year work anniversary. So notice I can go and easily comment like this, congrats, as an example. So we can make this fun and connected with the organization. We'd have birthdays, work anniversaries, recognition. Again, it's very easy, much like social media, to comment, like, react to posts from my team. So this is at the company level, but I can also do the same type of interaction at a localized level. So these are the teams that I'm part of. So for example, I can go in here and take part in what's going on with the health, safety, and wellness programs. So this might be posting information about how to have a healthy work site, maybe certain events that the company is doing. And notice I can go in here and recognize my coworkers. So maybe I want to give my coworker Alicia a shout out, for thanks for joining the weekly walking club, as an example. And I can give her a badge. Maybe it's a company value, like it's a good one for this. Community. These would be based off of your company values. And I can go ahead and post this. Now notice it shows up on the feed. Our coworkers are going to be able to like, comment, react to this. Congrats, or way to go. And they can do this all from their phone. So now Alicia is going to be notified, via email, via Slack, via Teams, your preferred communication channels, and be notified that I've given her a shout out here recently for being part of the team. We can also send important updates out to the organization. So you can notice that this is a very social media style platform. But you want to make sure things that are really important don't get buried into a feed. And that's what the announcements do. So here, instead of just doing a general post like we were just doing a moment ago, I can quickly and easily post an announcement out to the organization. And I can send this as a text message for urgent and important information, like a fire or other emergency scenario where I don't want to rely on them seeing a notification and having to access the system. I can text them directly. The second thing is oftentimes these are important posts that I want to ensure my employees have seen. I can mark this as a mandatory read post, require a signature. So if it's a new update, a compliance change, something like that, I can post it out and ensure that my employees are getting this information, reviewing, and most importantly, acknowledging receipt of this important information. And from an admin standpoint, I can quickly see not just the general impressions and engagement with the post, but these mandatory read posts. I can see who has and who has not confirmed this, and I can easily send them automated scheduled announce or updates or notifications about this. I can reach out to them personally as well. And then these important announcements are easily found. So maybe there was an update last week about benefits. I can quickly and easily find this with just a couple of clicks and a quick search. I can find that update instead of trying to find emails that have maybe been deleted, a text message that I no longer have, or some bulletin board material that's no longer on there. It's all saved in a central place. And me, as the employee, can easily find this information. So I'm not lost. I'm informed. I know what's going on. I'm being recognized, and I feel part of the team through these communities. Now, the last thing I want to show you is the analytics. So this is where you, as the admin, as managers, can easily see what's going on in your organization. So, how many active users do you have? What type of engagement are they doing? Who are your contributors, your active participators in the system? What's going on with recognition? So who's out there, like Bonnie here, giving the most kudos? Who's receiving the most kudos? Alicia here as well. And what is the most popular type of recognition? So these are your company values and your specific awards that you've set up. I can see what's going on with specific posts and likes and comments and reactions around it. I can see what posts are being shared to other social media platforms. I can track trending topics to hashtags, much like Twitter/X. And I can do the same thing at the channel level and see what's going on with my individual organic communication groups. So this is Workmates. Workmates is a platform that brings everybody together. It's focused on recognition, informed and connected communication, and the ability to see what's going on, and ultimately creating a sense of communication and community within your organization. So now come back here. And before we get to the questions, I'll actually open up for questions now. Sorry. So now would like to open up for questions. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and I'll go through them now. You can ask about anything that we've talked about or any tangentially related topics, especially around retention strategies, workmates implementation, and how this might work in your specific industry. All right, so we actually do have a first question here, and it is, if an HR team can only focus on one driver, first recognition, staying informed, or belonging, which one would they start with in the first days and why? It really depends on what your ultimate goal is. Oftentimes we see that maybe they've done some engagement surveys recently and see that employees don't feel recognized. So oftentimes implementing a recognition program would be the first thing that they would do, because really they've noticed employees feel recognized, and there's a direct connection between recognition and retention. So it's easy to put together a recognition program. Even our implementation specialists can help you put one together if you don't already have one. And that's something that really can start being used and utilized within a few days. And oftentimes we see our customers that are focused on recognition, getting the system up and running and seeing real results. They might often do a survey within 30 days, and they already have a higher NPS score than they did before the recognition program was launched. Great question. Any other questions? Okay, so next question is, how do you drive adoption so Workmates does not become another tool people ignore, especially for deskless workers who rarely check email? Great question. So that's the big thing with this system, is it takes place of email. Oftentimes, email is expensive, so not everybody has email. So there's often, especially in some of these more, field-based industries like construction, manufacturing, et cetera, it really is down to the manager in traditional settings to get that information relayed out to the employees that don't have email. So they're checking their emails a couple of times a day and relaying that information. Whereas our system brings that communication directly to the person, so you don't have to worry about a mediation and reliance of the manager, directly to where they are. So everybody has smart devices, whether that be from the company or from their personal side. They can download it on their preferred device, get those push notifications, get those updates very, very quickly. And the idea here is you want them to be using this app. So we talked about important updates like a benefit update or compliance change being pushed out through this system. But also we see a lot of companies, especially in more blue collar industries, setting up just general engagement channels that are related to things the employees want to talk about, whether it be sports or other activities. That way, your employees are going in there talking about the game on Sunday evening that happens Sunday evening, Monday morning, but right there, bam, they get an update on the updates from the company, can react to that, get a recognition from their manager, all in one place. Next question is, what does good recognition look like in frontline environments where managers are busy and teams work across shifts and locations? This is similar to what I was just talking about. So here, recognition often will fall through the cracks. So with our system, it makes recognition easy. It makes it systematic. So there's a schema that's followed. You use your badges based off of company values. And you also can ensure that people are being recognized through the reports and the manager actively doing this. For some larger organizations where they want to make sure this doesn't fall through the cracks, you can even set up automation around this. So you can set up scheduled recognition to be given on a weekly basis, notifications to be sent out to managers if there's been no recognition for a certain amount of time. So the idea is you are going to make sure that this recognition doesn't fall through the cracks. You make it easy, quick, and on the spot where recognition has the biggest impact. Any other questions? All right, it looks like everybody has asked their questions, so I do appreciate everybody's time today. It was my pleasure meeting with you. And now, if there's anything that I want you to take away from today's conversation, it's this. Retention doesn't have to be a guessing game. By using the right tools and focusing on what really matters to employees, so recognition, information, and a sense of connection and well-being, you can significantly reduce turnover. I'd like you to see how workmates can work for your organization. You can book a demo with me personally, send me an email, contact me directly, and thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.